Alrighty, guys, welcome to tonight's charting session. Hopefully everybody is doing well, having a good morning so far. So we're going to talk about today kind of the market, kind of the trades that we took today, what my bias was going into the day, and then we'll talk about going into tomorrow as well, any trades that you guys took, and just take a little bit of time and talk about, again, the constant things that I was saying today on live to be focused on. First thing I'm going to say before we get into the session, just so if somebody's watching this recording, this is the first thing that's going to hit your face. Always, 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 I will continue to repeat this. The most important thing that is going to make you a real trader, and if you are focused on longevity, this needs to be in your head constantly. The people and traders who make it versus don't make it are the ones who fail and don't fail to recognize market conditions. Once you recognize market conditions, you have to make the decision to replicate or change the way that you trade based off of those conditions. The last month, I have lowered my size significantly. I'm recognizing conditions. I don't have enough conviction. It's the end of the year. We're at all-time highs. I will always, always lower my size in those conditions. I'm not here to just signal out calls, to just feed you a bunch of nonsense and feed you a bunch of trades that might work, might not work, just to stimulate your little fucking brain. That's not my job. My job is to teach you the reality of trading. And right now, I'm telling you, I am way risk off in this market. I'm waiting for the next year to most likely bring my size back up, waiting for more structure to happen once we're at all-time highs right now. And this is the point in time where you cannot get impatient. You have to be patient. You can't be angsty trying to put on trades and try to, see outcomes. You have to recognize conditions. And I know some people, joined the community recently and they're like, oh my God, it's hard because I joined and there hasn't been, a lot, and it makes me question, what the market is. And guys, don't trick yourself. Don't fool yourself. Don't let yourself get impatient. Don't let yourself wanting to get the outcome more than what the market is telling you. Again, you have to think about this objectively. Your success does not come from anything besides your own decisions. And the success that you have is better off either for worse or for better based off of how you see the market, okay? In this type of market, you have to be able to recognize, and I'm not saying for everybody, but I'm saying for my strategy, for our strategy, a lot of the times when we are at the end of the year, we're at all-time highs, I am always going to be more risk off. I don't care to make money. Stop focusing on making money. Stop focusing on getting funded. Stop focusing on passing an evaluation. When you start thinking about the outcome, and the outcome is your main goal besides actually trading what you should be doing, which is being patient, being disciplined, taking only good setups, risk off when market's not good, recognizing conviction, focus on building conviction. When you're only focused on those things and you're not focused on the outcome becomes so much more consistent and it gets to you even faster. If you are only focused on the outcome, it will be so much harder. You have to build the roots and the foundation to get to the outcome. You just can't take from fucking step 1 all the way to step 5 and expect that to work consistently. The people who have small success, I bet many of you will go on a win streak, 1-2 weeks, and then it takes 3 days, 4 days for all of those wins to get wiped. Why is that? Because those 2 weeks were so easy that you have not been following your rules. You haven't been following good risk management. You haven't been focused on conviction. You've been getting lucky, building false confidence, and it takes 3 days for you to get wiped and your emotions to go crazy and your conviction to be wiped. If you are not focused on the things you should be focused on and you are only focused on making money, you will just consistently hold yourself back. You will take 1 step forward and 2 steps back always, and you won't end up where you want to be. So always, I'm going to constantly repeat this, and I will always push it in your head. Our focus here is building good habits every single day, focusing on building conviction with my model, focusing on good risk management, proper position sizing, and recognizing market conditions. Every single day, that is what I'm focused on. I don't care if I make $1. I don't care if I make $100. I don't care if I make 1,000, 10,000. I don't care. All I care about is if I'm doing the rules that I have set for myself. Clear? This whole week, I avoided reading my setups, but they all hit TP. When I entered a trade, I got stopped out, and it feels like the market is out to get me. Do you have any tips? You cannot take the market personally. Guys, you cannot take this shit personally. So many of you guys will have that happen where you take a trade, you get stopped out, and then it goes in your favor, or then you miss the setup that you were wanting to do, and you take it so personally that it ends up fueling your emotion. You end up making even more irrational decisions after that. You cannot get emotional. You cannot take trades personally. All that does is spark negative things. Again, you have to go back to thinking. You have to think as in a third-person point of view, okay? Think about this. This is how I think when I'm in the market, and just in life in general, psychologically. Is this thought doing anything for me? When you are actually present, sitting in the moment, or you look back on a moment, and you are questioning your thoughts, your reactions, your emotion to some event, whether it be in life or in the market, ask yourself if that thought or that, response does anything good for you. Most of the time, it doesn't. It's only doing negative. But in the moment, that's your retaliation. We're emotional creatures. Our whole job as traders is to figure out how to control those emotions, right? When you get upset about missing out on a setup or getting stopped and then missing out on another one, and you feel like the market's out to get you, it does nothing good for you. You have to realize that you have to be able to control your own emotion. And again, you can't attach yourself to it. You cannot attach yourself to the outcome of a trade, of a funded account, whatever it is. You cannot attach yourself. You have to completely detach yourself from an outcome. Every time I enter a trade, I'm expecting to lose. Every time that I enter the market, I'm expecting to miss out on 10 setups. Every time that I enter a trade, I'm expecting to for me to sit there for an hour before my PT gets hit. I do not have any expectations when I go into the market, and you should not either. If you go into the market with expectations, you will get fucked. Would you have taken a long after the stop rate on NQ leading to the bullish move? Also was an SMT with ES. I spotted it, but haven't traded this setup. I would have taken the 5-minute, but the entry was never given. For me, I wouldn't have taken a long because the entry was never given for me. In your opinion, is this type of conditions better to go on higher times and looser stops? Higher time frames as in what? 5-minute or like 30-minute, 15-minute? I would say 5-minute, yeah, for sure. Just a general question. Yesterday I left, so I got fired from my job. Got 5 months worth of savings and better job in line, but I have at least till March to get it. So it is reasonable expecting with proper risk management to get funded. I've been trading for a year and studying ICT for a month. Oh, is it reasonable expecting with proper risk management to get funded? I have till March. Okay, till March to get funded? Absolutely. But again, you can't be focused on getting funded. You can't. Trust me. I know it sounds contradictory, but you cannot everybody gets into trading to make money, but you cannot be focused on making money. You can't. When somebody goes, you got to think about, okay, if I want to play basketball, is my first thought before I even start playing basketball that I want to win an NBA championship? Should that be my goal? Right? Before I even have ever dribbled a fucking basketball, should I want to fucking win the NBA championship? That is the stupidest thing I would ever fucking hear. You cannot just jump from one step to the last step. You have to build a foundation, and you have to build up a mind that is in relation to what you are doing. This is a job where you have to program yourself. This is not just, if this was easy, everybody would fucking do this. You have to put in the time to learn and understand yourself and program yourself in a way that is going to make you money consistently and save you so many different ways. You have to take the time to learn how to understand yourself and program your own self to the way that you trade, both offensively and defensively. I've taken one trade over the last 3 days, just not extremely favorable PA for me. If I wait until the plays that I'm comfortable with start to set up, doesn't matter if others are trading and getting into plays or not, then I succeed. I know that in my system that I'm confident with, and that's all I wait for. Yep. When I said in the AM session I am worried, it was more about the fact that I'm worried about having a false learning effect because I only experience those market conditions and don't want to learn that some models that work. Okay, models are models. Models will, okay, listen, this is what I'll say. Models will work no matter the condition. It's the efficiency of the model. It's the efficiency of the model. So when you learn in worse conditions, all that does is just make you even more patient, more disciplined, and have better risk. Excuse me. Do you like this as a starter? That's not a bad entry. You pretty much, you nailed the soup. I would have probably been waiting. Could you look for a trade from yesterday on NQ? Would you have taken the? Yes. You'll have to send me a screenshot. Count Bounce Live was 2K. Literally lost 1K first week of December. Man, it hit me hard. Trading really is, but I'm glad I went through it and hopefully can bounce back harder. Again, guys, one thing I'll recommend too, if you are down on an account, most of the time, you have such a high, this is how you want to bring back an account. The reason, most of the time when somebody has an account and they don't have experience, thank you, sir. Most of the time, when you have an account and you don't have an experience, after the first or two losses, you have like an 80% higher chance of blowing that account. You want to know why? Because after 2 losses, 1 loss, or at least like 20% of the account gone, you have such a higher percentage of losing the whole entire account because you're focused on making that money back. When you're focused on making that money back, everything that we've been teaching you, everything that we've tried to been focused on goes out of the window. You're not focused on taking good setups. You're not focused on proper risk management. You're over-leveraging, trading way too many cons, trying to scalp a little move, make some money, bring back, because you can't stand to see your number on a fucking account be lower than what it was the previous day. You literally are you're literally just psychologically fucking yourself. You have to be focused on building conviction. If you are down on an account, this is what I say. If you have a $5,000 account and you're down $2,000 on that account, trade 1 to 2 micros for an entire week. Most people won't take this advice because they don't want it. They're not patient enough. They don't want to take a whole week. Justin, that's a whole week. There's so many setups in a week. I could make that money back in a week, Justin. Oh my God. I don't give no fucks. Trade micros for 1 week. And focus on building conviction, patience, discipline. Do not come into the market eager, itching to put on a trade. Wait for the setup to be so clean and so easy to read that you have to take it. Go into every single day expecting not to trade. And when you go in every day expecting not to trade, you will only take the good setups. Yeah, that's a great setup, Paulie. I love that. I would have taken the same thing. I've tried a 15-second chart, and sometimes I get caught up in the small breaker structures on the 15-second. Can you explain how to utilize such a small time frame? The 15-second is only valid, and the only point in which I'm looking at is if there's some sort of bigger time frame confluence with it. There has to be a reason for me to go down to the 15-second. If you are trading like this type of market and you go down to a 15-second, you're just going to get chopped up. It's just going to give you false signs. I've got one question. Found this great setup for me, and usually I would take it, but I have difficulties getting into a trade on a fair value gap. I'm often correct with my bias and overall trade idea, but I miss out on the move because of it. Where in here would you enter on that inverse fair value gap, if you could explain? Okay, if you want to take a trade here, take the trade with a micro. Guys, the reason you are hesitant to take trades is because you are afraid of losing. That is it. That is literally it. You will not take a trade that you like because you're afraid to lose. That is all. That's the reasoning. That's it. Don't think about anything else. Don't overthink it. If you go to me and say, Justin, I wanted to take this, but I didn't, I know you are afraid to lose. You are not focused on building conviction. If you see a setup that you think looks good, take it with a micro, paper trade it, do something. Again, if you are focused on building conviction and you are focused on gaining market experience, you're not just going to just take a trade you like with a bunch of size. You're scared to lose because you're focused on growing an account. You're not focused on building conviction. You see a setup you like, take it with 1 micro. Don't be afraid to lose. Don't let it fucking hurt your ego. You should not care if you lose or you win. You should focus on building conviction. And every single loss and every single win that you take is experience added to your arsenal, which is good. If that's why we trade micros. That's why you should be trading low size, because you're not putting on risk. You're not going to get overly emotional. You're strictly gaining experience by pressing a button and using your own ideas to forward test think. Guys, come on. Get this into your brain. In trading, I feel like there can be so many factors on why a trade might not have worked out. How do you manage that when you can just take a loss and be confident that there really wasn't anything else you could do? Losses are a part of the game, but because I don't have proof that I know what I'm doing, I try to nitpick them to see what I could have done better. But again, there are some ways you could have performed better in every trade, so I could feel restless sometimes. Have you ever experienced this? Okay, you're overthinking it. I get what you're saying. I absolutely do. Trust me. I 100% get what you're saying. This is what I recommend. This is what I say. Yes, you are right. You don't know enough. That's number one. You don't have enough experience seeing those things. You've seen it happen sometimes, you've seen it work. Other times you've seen it not work, you've seen whatever it is. Knowing that, you have to now split those things and figure out the concepts between what works and what doesn't work, and that is what building conviction is. Because there are points in time where you might think something looks good, and it'll work. You might think something looks bad. It'll still work. You have to figure out what is different between those two things. Sometimes you might not figure it out. Sometimes it might take 5 more of those situations for you to realize what's actually happening, for you to realize why the market is doing something. That's what experience is. It's not just going to be easy click in your brain. It's going to take experience. That's why when you go, there's really no aha moment with trading. Aha moment is constantly learning and constantly growing. I kind of want to take a long here. Can you explain again if we should have B-ADG on, or maybe understood something wrong, but Johnny said it off? I have it on because it adjusts to the contract size. The reason why Johnny says off is because he's trading the contract chart. He's trading on the actual contract chart. I'm not. I'm trading on the NQ, which is automatically adjusted, so I have to have this on to adjust to the contract. You can do it either way. It doesn't really matter which way you do it. But if you're trading ES or NQ, like just the regular ES1 exclamation point, you have to have it on because or else it won't adjust to the contracts. Mental checklist. A+ setups in my head just are not, like, again, the more experience, it's not just it's reading a language. The more experience you have, you're not looking at the market being like, okay, this has happened. Okay, this has happened. When you see it and you recognize it and you act on it. That's what it is. Now, I teach a checklist. I teach because it's for people to learn. I give those things that I look for, but when I'm actually in the moment, I'm not constantly replaying those things I need to see. I'm viewing the market in the way of how I should view it. This is my A+ setup. This is the foundation of how I trade. This thread is the foundation. Now, this is a main model, but this is what I'm looking for every day in the market. Yeah, I'm 20. All right, I'm in an NQ or ES long here. Is there a YouTube video detailing the Twitter thread? No, I have not made a specific. I haven't made a specific video on that thread yet. No. And again, I'm trading 2 contracts. Quarter of my size of what I normally trade. Again, I'm not focused on winning. I'm not focused on losing. I don't care if I lose this because I can afford to lose this. This might not be what you can afford, but this to me, I don't care if I lose. I don't care if I win. I am simply focused on backtesting price action and building conviction. If this doesn't work, I go back and say, okay, what could I have done differently here? What was wrong? Why did this not work? What might not be in my favor here? Things like that, right? But when I'm in this trade, when I make the decision, when I enter, I know that I go into it expecting to lose. And we might just run to my stop right now. In fact, there we go. I'm stopped out. Stopped out quick. Fair value gap starting to get ran through. And Q starting to sell off hard. That's it. And it looks like the external draw is going to be this low. We're going to come back down and take the external draw, running the imbalance. Draw still seems to be lower. And Q failed to swing high. There again, look here. There was a little SMT here. Yeah, reason I took this, we had these equal lows swept, a lot of displacement to the upside, coming back into OTE of this fair value gap. We have a little breaker here on a bigger time frame, like the 15-minute. Breaker here, OTE of the range. Would want to see this get bought back from here, but again, this gets ran through. This tells me, okay, my bias is wrong. Why is this bias wrong? Number one, looking back here, we still have this swing low, right? I was trading this equal lows getting taken, right? Equal lows getting taken, liquidity swept. But if I zoom out on a bigger time frame, this low is no longer in play. This is the swing low. This is where sell side's resting on a bigger time frame. And Q's failing to have a swing high. We don't break through the swing high. We actually end up forming a bearish SMT here, again, which is against my bias. And Q's redirecting price, rebalancing lower. Most likely going into this 1 hour fair value gap. Would you say that market conditions are bad this month? Because I've been doing well the past 2 months, and I'm down this month, even though I'm followed the plan, starting to think that I am the problem. Again, there's always going to be time. Guys, even the best traders, guys, you guys got to stop beating yourself up. Even the best traders in the world have losing periods, okay? It has nothing to do, well, I mean, it does have everything to do with your decisions, but it's, when you have a losing period, that does not automatically mean that your edge is wrong or you're trading wrong or anything like that. And that's the hard part about trading, is trading will psychologically run you in circles, okay? There needs to be a point in time where you have to recognize what is worth thinking about and what is just making me run in circles. Yes. Do I think the last 2 months have been a lot harder? Absolutely. I don't think the market and the price action has been as good as it has been this year, earlier this year. And for that reason, I've lowered my size these last month and a half, because you have to recognize that. Again, I have no idea what January will bring. I can't predict the future. My job is to simply react. I don't care to predict. I don't care what January does. I don't care what February does. All my job is to see what it does and make a decision based off of that. Replay sessions anymore? We could do a replay session if you guys want. Much love, Ghost. Thank you, brother. Okay, let's do a replay session. What do we want to do it on, though? Do we want to do it on ES? Do we want to do it on gold? Do we want to do it on NQ? No. NQ today is too fresh. We go back. So normally we used to do a lot of replay sessions. Let me do this. What I'll do is I go to a daily. I'll squeeze the chart pretty small so I don't really know where I am. And then I'll go to somewhere that, like here. And then we do our top-down analysis. All right. So this is where we're at. This is where we're at market. What am I expecting to see here? All right. What's my bias here? NQ, first thing I'm noticing, have equal lows down here. We've been in a bear trend. Just rejected off this daily fair value gap. There isn't really any sort of bullish imbalance here for us to bounce off of. There's no bullish imbalance here for us to really bounce off of. Zooming into a 4-hour, there isn't really anything. We have this kind of swing low. This is what I would expect the draw to be right now. So going into like a week like this, I'm definitely more bearish. But again, I would want to see some more internal structure to give me an idea of where we want to go lower and possibly an idea of how I would want to trade this. So right now, the first, again, internal draw would be this most recent swing low here. So this is kind of, again, where I would want to zoom into a 1-hour time frame. You can see we're retracing back up into this little hidden 1-hour fair value gap here, but we just did kind of sweep these kind of equal lows here. So there's a possibility for us to maybe come back higher. We have a very small imbalance here. So this is going to, I'll zoom in even more to a 15-minute here. Can I zoom into a 5-minute? I can zoom into a 5-minute. From here, again, would watch price action. Ends up gapping down, most likely in London session here. Again, drawn liquidity is this recent low. Would most likely just expect to see a sell-off there. Looks like we might be coming back down to a pause here. There might be a 15-minute fair value gap we just opened up. Oh, come on. Oh, I get 15-minute spoiled me. All right, there we go. So the draw ended up getting taken. Now we're having displacement back up, right? So this internal low that we've been looking for has been taken. A lot of displacement back to the upside. Where am I probably expecting price to maybe go here? Well, got to keep in mind, there's really no sort of swing high here. So a lot of low resistance liquidity, but I have to make a decision here. The draw is lower on a bigger time frame. If we come back down, there's still a possibility for us to hold this 4-hour fair value gap here. We have a big imbalance. This can absolutely be an area we need to see hold, but I'm not confident that this becomes low resistance liquidity just yet. I still want to see more structure. So right now, I'm just going to be watching to see how the 1-hour forms. We have this 1-hour fair value gap. This is what I'm watching to hold. So this is the point in time where I would be expecting, okay, we can go either way here. I'm leaning a little bit more bullish, but bigger time frame is bearish. We swept the internal level. We have displacement to the upside. This is the first sort of bullish imbalance that we've seen in a long time since this move to the downside, right? Keep in mind, these relative equal lows have been swept. We're getting displacement. This is where I'm watching to see us really start to get a move back to the upside or not. So this is when I zoom in. There's a possibility of us going higher. We sort of have these relative equal highs up here that I would want to see act as buy side. So I would definitely want to see us come into this 15-minute fair value gap more kind of in discount of this range. This is where I would zoom in, want to see this hold, and then look for displacement to the upside. There we go, displacement to the upside. This is where I would probably find some sort of 1-minute long, possibly, maybe a long, to then go target this internal high. Long ends up holding, targeting the internal high. From here, this would be my first off if I'm in a long, but from here, I would want to see the displacement. So bigger time frame, I definitely expect more to go through here. I definitely expect more room to the upside. We're starting to hold the first imbalance after taking this low. This 1-hour is hold. We're getting displacement out of this. I definitely expect us to most likely go higher. If I was actually in a trade right now, I would take some sort of profits off here and then let the rest run, but I definitely probably expect us to continue a little bit more higher before maybe falling back out. So running back down, end up we running through that imbalance. So I would get stopped at break even. So the rest of my contracts after taking profits here would get stopped at break even once we come back down. Now running through this 1 hour. So now again, I'm still expecting to either see this hold or this to get ran through. So I'm waiting on the 5 minute, gets a lot of displacement back up, sells right back down, comes down, sweeps this internal. Hold on, let me clear this up real quick so I can, again, new action here, new action. Let me clear this up. Comes down, sweeps this intraday sell side level. 5 minute now marked as bullish. Come back down to this 5 minute fair value gap. We'll see if this ends up holding or not. We're waiting, starting to respect it as an inverse. Would most likely expect to sell off. There we go. Again, continuing to follow the external draw. So from here, what I'm looking at is this now becomes a future buy side level. We have a swing high now put in. If I zoom out, this now becomes the recent swing high that I want to see become a buy side level. So again, going towards the external draw, we're still really in a short biased mentality here. For me to get a really high quality short entry, I would like to see us come back up to that area to sweep that high before going back lower. Also at this point in time is when I would pause, zoom out to a bigger time frame. Is there some sort of 4 hour fair value gap? Is there a 1 hour fair value gap that we can look to retrace? Right here. We have a 4 hour fair value gap. Let me see if there's some sort of nestled liquidity inside of this imbalance. I want to see if there's nestled liquidity in this imbalance to then go back lower. Because if this is a market maker sell model, which it looks like it is, this should hold for us to sell back lower. So again, bigger time frame bias, what I'm looking for is this. Boom, perfect. Equal highs nestled inside of the 4 hour fair value gap in bias in relationship to going with a lower draw on liquidity. This is when I go to a 5 minute, look for some sort of rejection, look for displacement lower, whatever it is. There we go. This is when I would look for some sort of short entry here, wherever that might be. Again, I can't zoom in on a 1 minute here, but this is where I would zoom in on a 1 minute. There we go. That's your pullback. Would most likely expect to hold this before going back lower. And then I get this point in time when I'm in short, what's my target? My target is the most recent low, and then I let the runners go to the external draw. Since the external draw is pretty far, I could use possibly standard deviation. From here, it's kind of hard to tell because it's kind of a straight move. There's no really clear manipulation move yet. Continuing to go. Possibly another add right there. Oh, there we go. Continuing to sell towards the external draw. And then, again, from here, looking for the exact same thing for a setup. We now have more buy side here. Equal highs. This is going to act as a future area of liquidity. Continuing to just sell straight. Coming back up. This is where I would expect, again, another possible imbalance to be held here. So this is what I would be watching here. This is a point in time. If this imbalance gets ran through, I'm expecting to go hunt these equal highs before going lower. If this doesn't get ran through and we hold this, I expect to sell back off. So right now, I'm watching this 30 minute. If this 30 minute gets ran through, we go to the equal highs before going lower. If we hold this, we go lower. Right now, boom, big displacement of the back towards the downside. I would expect to want to go back to this 5 minute fair value gap for a possible another short opportunity with good risk. We'll see if we retrace. Waiting. Doesn't look like we do. And then this should pretty much go straight towards that sell side level unless we get a move back up, possibly to that imbalance. Again, this is overnight session, lower volatility. Should go straight, and there we go. External draw is now taken. So this is what we do now. 4 hour, zoom back out. So now we have new structure. We have to reevaluate where we are right now. Come on. I think I broke it. Let me refresh here. Oh, I'm going to have to go back to where we were. Okay, right here. All right. Okay. Again, literally like I said too, right when these equal highs form, I say this is going to be a future buy side level. This is going to be a future target. So now that this external draw is taken, what am I looking for? I'm looking for displacement back to the upside. What's being respected? What's being disrespected? Our bullish imbalance is getting respected. Our bearish imbalance is getting ran through. So I go down to the 1 hour. Again, first thing I'm expecting, we have a big 1 hour right here. First, are we going to continue run? We get a big push to the upside. This is where I'm possibly looking to take longs. It might not get an opportunity. It might be straight up. We have a 1 hour fair value gap here. I would want to see us come back into this before going higher. Zoom into the 5 minute. Would want to see us come back down. Tap the 1 hour. There we go. Do we get displacement out of this? I'm waiting. 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 Looks like overnight session hit, so it's lower conditions. Again, still would most likely expect us to hold. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Possibility for us to now sweep internal liquidity before going higher. So again, what would I want to see here? I would want to see the 1 hour fair value gap continue to hold, and I want to see manipulation towards the downside. I want to see a manipulation move before having a pump towards the external draw. Let's see if we get it. We're getting displacement early on. This is going to be most likely the play to go for longs. This is where I'd most likely look to take some sort of long here, expecting to get bought up. And then, of course, my price target would be the external high. But again, when I'm taking trades here, I'm just taking it based off of the drawn liquidity. There we go. Take the high. Again, from here, now I'm more bearish. This now becomes a future sell side target. Again, drawn liquidity becomes those equal lows. Sells off. There we go. Again, at this point in time, I'm now watching to see if there's some sort of bigger time frame imbalance here. Uh-oh. Fuck. Did I mess it up again? Hold on. 5 minutes? Replay. Okay. Let me get out of this area. All right, so now let's revisit it here because it's now more interesting. Okay. Daily fair value gap getting ran through. I'm super bullish at this point in time, right? I'm super bullish at this point in time. So I'm looking at the 1 hour. Again, drawn liquidity. Becoming a recent high on the daily. Comes up, takes the high. Do we get displacement? Continue higher. And this looks like the market we're in right now. So here we go. This is where I would want to start to see if there's a possibility for something here. So I go down to the 4 hour. We have a 4 hour fair value gap. We have some nestled liquidity in here. We didn't take this recent high yet, so this is where I'm expecting the market to most likely go. But I would want to see some sort of manipulation, possibly coming back into this 1 hour fair value gap, taking this recent low right here. We'll see if we end up coming down or doing so. At this point in time, I would expect us to most likely just go straight up to that high unless this fair value gap continues to hold. But this is when I'll zoom into the 1 hour. If we do hold that, which I don't really expect us to, we'll probably continue higher. There we go. Takes out the first high on the daily. First intraday high. Again, actually, this is literally the market we're in right now. Again, another possibility here, coming back to the big 4 hour fair value gap. I'm just going to start buying and selling based off of what I think the draw is. Oh, wait, I already saw that. Wait, never mind. I just realized I've already seen this, but again, it's same action to it then. But all right, there we go. That's enough replay session for now. Did you guys enjoy that? All right. Let's talk a little bit about last thing for tonight. We'll talk a little bit about going into tomorrow, and then we'll end it off. We'll end it off there. All right. So going into tomorrow, again, loose bias, more bullish than I am bearish. Want to see how this 1 hour is going to act or not. Again, super bullish. This could just be a regular retracement to just continue going higher. So that's what I'm expecting. Again, we can go run through it, but I'm most likely expecting it to hold because we've just been so bullish. Coming into the 1 hour, depending on what happens in the overnight session, if we continue to hold this or not, I'm looking for all of this to become low resistance liquidity before possibly coming back to go take out the previous equal highs that we had that was made in the overnight session. And that's pretty much it. We'll see what happens in the overnight session. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you for talking by. Thank you for coming by and asking questions with you guys. Again, I love doing these sessions. So enjoy the rest of your night, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Get some rest. Actually, I mean, it's still the rest of your day for you guys, most of you guys. So enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.